All right, and we should be live. It's going to be a small stream today because we're keeping it nice and intimate for our members. How you guys doing? Joe, good to see you, sir. Mr. Joe Beach. If you're here, let me know in the chat real quick. And today I wanted to talk about something kind of cool. And if you're watching this in after the live stream and a replay, hello. Comment below if you have any questions. This will be a members only live stream, so you gotta be a unicorn to watch this. I wanted to talk about the future of IT certifications. And what made me think about this, hey Joe, what made me think about this was I had a conversation with Cumulus Networks. Let me show you what they are real quick, if you don't know who they are. Get to my code live screen. Here we go. Oh, that's their certification. Cumulus is like a data center switch. So they're more akin to like Nexus or Arista switches. They're hardcore. They're big. They're awesome. But this is open networking, open source networking. So it's run on Linux, which I think is cool, right? I knew a little bit about this before going into it, but I decided to jump on a call with Cumulus because I wanted to test them out in my house. Putting a data center class switch inside my house, I realized might be a bit of an overkill, but nonetheless, I want to do it. But we were talking, and the skills you need as a network engineer to work on Cumulus stuff are not the same as you would need for CCNA, obviously, because this guy I was talking to, he's a Cumulus guy, manager at Cumulus. He manages people, he hires people. He's an important dude. And he's a CCIE. He worked on Cisco TAC for like 6 years. And he said he was worried that when he was getting a CCIE, and even afterwards, he's like, did I just memorize a bunch of Cisco IOS? Did I really learn networking? And that was interesting because I know Boson Software. What's going on, Boson? Good to see you guys here. So anyways, I'm talking about certifications. Oh, what just happened? I don't know what that noise was. Better turn off my sound. Oh, new subscriber, that's what it was. Now, on this video, I will be a bit more unscripted, less unplanned, because we're just chatting here. And as we get more members in this unicorn status, we'll be able to talk more. But right now, it's kind of a small group. But anyways, you'll be able to watch it afterwards, too. So after talking with this guy from Cumulus, he said that he was worried that all he learned was Cisco IOS commands and didn't really learn networking. Now, of course, throughout the CCIE, you learn networking. You learn the open standards, the RFC standards to actually run a network, OSPF, open vendor stuff. But networking is changing. It's no longer just Cisco, right? It's not just Cisco stuff in the data center. And I haven't encountered any network thus far that doesn't have something beside, or doesn't have just Cisco, or they have Arista, they have Palo Alto, they'll have Dell switches, they'll have all kinds of stuff in there. So the landscape is changing. So I was asking, okay, what's so special about running a Linux OS on a switch, a data class center switch? What is it? Is it free? I thought it might have been free. It's like no, it's not free. Like you have to license it, and you can install on a white box switch, which is a whole new world for me. Because I've only ever really purchased switches that are built by the person who's putting the OS on there, so Cisco. But Cumulus is an OS you can just install. Linux OS you can install on any one of the white box switches they support. It's kind of a gotcha because they only support really two ASICs. I wrote it down. So I have a bunch of notes. I had a call today with, I've been on a call all day. I was talking with David Bombal for a few hours and then Jeremy Chara for a few hours. These are all my notes from that call with the guy from Cumulus. What was it called? Oh, they only go on Broadcom and Mellanox CPUs and ASICs. Now, what's cool about Cumulus is that you can run this in the cloud or on a virtual machine for free. You can fully run it, but if you want to actually install it on a switch, and take advantage of the ASIC, which, the ASIC is the specialized hardware designed to just forward packets like a Ferrari. If you want to take advantage of ASICs, you need their SDK, and you need to license it. That's the only gotcha. That's where you have to pay. But apart from that, it's free. And we got to talking. I said, Rama, this is the guy's name. I guess I gave it away. Rama, he's a manager at Cumulus. I said, hey, what do you think is a skill set that people need nowadays? Like, if you were, because I think this Linux stuff on switching is like the future. I mean, it's already happening now in cloud. Like in cloud, all the switching and networking up there is all Linux based. It's transparent to us. We don't see it, but it's all Linux based. And now this stuff, this Linux switching in our data center, is the natural next step, because our data centers are mainly Linux run now. Yeah, sure, you're gonna have Windows stuff, but Linux is like at the forefront of things. And learning Linux along with your networking knowledge is going to set you apart and make you so rare. So I asked this guy, I said, okay, fine. I understand this is the future. Your Cumulus switch can integrate with Ansible and all these automation frameworks, and it makes it easier. It's Linux at its core. It's not Cisco iOS. It's not vendor lock-in. So I said, hey, what skill set are you looking for? What certifications would you look for in hiring someone to work on your switches, to be like a Linux admin? And his answer was interesting. He doesn't look for certs at all. I thought that was weird too, because I love certs. I tell you guys to get certifications. He doesn't care about certifications at all. In fact, if he sees a bunch of acronyms on a resume, he's like, trash bin. I'm like, oh, okay. Well then, what in the world do you look for? David just texted me. Hi, David. Anyways. David Bumble, you should be watching this live stream. Maybe I should text it to him. No, I'll do it later. So I said, what are you looking for? And he says he's looking for people. And I first asked him, are you looking for college degrees maybe? He's like, no, that's not important. He's looking for people who like to tinker. And he's looking for people, and this is like his number one requirement for people nowadays in technology. He wants you to have a GitHub page, a Git page that you put on your resume where you can go to and see the code that you've messed with. Linux scripts that you've created, PowerShell scripts you've created. He wants to see if you're a tinkerer. Some of the examples he used I thought was so funny, because it's the videos I put on my channel teaching guys how to do. And he's never seen, like, he doesn't know who I am. I reached out to the Cumulus marketing people. I said, hey, I would love to try out your stuff. Can I talk with somebody? And they hooked me up with him. And he was like, I would love to see on a resume just a hobbyist, someone who's played with Linux, who maybe just installed it on their machine, like in VirtualBox, and started tinkering with it. Or maybe he used this example, and I laughed out loud. I literally lolled. He said that he would love to see someone who gets a Raspberry Pi and installs Linux on or you can't install anything but Linux on a Raspberry Pi, but has Linux on the Raspberry Pi and sets up a web server, or just installs Apache or something. And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? That's what I told people to do. So I think in the future, certifications are going to start becoming less and less important, because this is going to become the currency for us now, especially with our infrastructure going more and more. I don't know why I'm holding my lens cap. Going more and more towards code, infrastructure as code. What does that mean? It means we're let's say, for example, you went and configured a Windows server. This is very much a cloud term, but if you went and configured a Windows server, you might install IIS, or you might install Active Directory or file services, and that's all a manual process. If you wanted to duplicate that, you might have to go in and do the whole process again, or sysprep it or something. But the concept of infrastructure as code is that you can just put that all into, like, maybe for Azure's example, maybe into a JSON template, or maybe using PowerShell DSC, you can automate it and put it into this PowerShell template, and you can adjust this template to just the way you want it to look, just the way you want it configured, from the files to the services enabled. And when you want to deploy that machine again, you just click and it deploys. That's infrastructure as code. And as we're moving that direction, especially with network automation, the skill sets are changing. Now we're seeing Cisco try to adapt to that, right? With the new certifications. So we're going from like a 3-year renewal for like CCNA, CCNP, sometimes longer. We're going from that to where it's renewed every single year, because that's the rapid pace of growth with technology. That's why this guy doesn't value certifications, because whatever certification is on that resume, he's working at a company where they're fast forwarding. They're at the forefront of new technologies, and if you have your CCNA, you're probably already 4 years behind what he's doing. So I guess, and he did say this, and I agree with him. The old way of doing networking will be around for a very, very long time. It's not going anywhere. People are still going to have Cisco in their data center and their campus networks, and it's going to be amazing. And I still love it. And I work from home, and I make videos all day. I really, honestly wish sometimes I could wake up, go into an office, and just boot up a Cisco switch. Oh my goodness. Or just look at a huge network monitoring diagram and just go, that's working well. I mean, troubleshoot. Like, I miss that so much. There's nothing better than that, except for working from home and and not having to go into an office. But I do miss that. But anyways, Cisco will be around forever. I think that they're not going away, and the way companies implement Cisco into their environment isn't going away. But it's a big but. More and more companies are moving a different direction. And if you want to be ahead of the curve, if you want to be hired at cutting edge companies where you're working on the newest exciting stuff, and also you'll be making the most money because you have a skill set that's so rare, you want to start looking at this new stuff where maybe it's not certification based. Maybe it's you learn the requirements, you learn networking, not just to get a certification, but to learn the actual RFC protocols and everything. And then you learn Linux and you learn how to actually code it and create GitHub pages and not just say, I know what Spanning Tree does, but maybe you have something in GitHub that you've automated Spanning Tree deployments, just something that just demonstrates what you know instead of saying, I have a certification that says I know something. They're looking for demonstration now. Now, I went a step further, and I asked this guy, okay, fine. You're looking for people who can demonstrate their work. I said, I told my followers, my subscribers, I told them if they want to differentiate themselves and make themselves so rare in their career and on their resumes and try to differentiate themselves from everybody in the job pool, I want them to go out and create a blog. I want them to create YouTube videos, just well-crafted stuff that looks amazing. I mean, maybe not amazing, but just good, and you're teaching what you know. And he said that would be the next level. Having GitHub's good, and I think that we're seeing that because programmers have known this for a long time, right? Programmers, they don't care about having a certifications. They don't really have any that they care about. I know there's Python certs, but who gets those? Only we care about certs. They care about what you can do, your GitHub. But going from GitHub to having like a YouTube channel to having a blog where you're not only just creating your code, but you're teaching it, demonstrating it, showing it how it works. And then that's just the next level for people. So you're going to set yourself apart. Like you'll go to, and like no one's doing that. Top of the resume pile, seriously. And I guess the main difference here now too is that people aren't really looking for just, do you know something? They want to know, and this is what he really emphasized. He said, I want to know if you can learn something quickly, if you can be dynamic, if you can just think on your feet, and like, okay, if you need to like learn how to do X technology, like if you need to learn how to do something in Linux tomorrow, can you go learn it real quick? That's what people are looking for. They want to see how well you are or how good you are at learning. That's the whole game now, demonstrating that knowledge. So, but what's funny though is Cumulus does have their own certification, and I was looking at it, and it's kind of interesting. I by no means would ever recommend someone go get the certification because it's got no industry recognition. But it's called the Cumulus Certified Open Networking Professional. Open networking is all about open source crap, and it's like the open source of networking kind of stuff. But anyways, what he told me about the certification is that I can hear my dog outside the door. What are y'all doing? This certification is interesting because it teaches both Linux and networking, and not, obviously not networking from the Cisco perspective where you're learning iOS commands, but it's teaching it from a theory perspective as well as how to do networking in Linux and how to manage a switch in Linux. I mean, he was telling me that essentially, like, if you were to put their switch into like a monitoring program like SolarWinds or something, it would show up as a Linux server just with 48 ports. It's kind of funny. It's not showing as Cisco iOS device or something. But this certification is focused on Linux and networking. And I thought, if only this had some industry recognition, this would be the perfect mixing and melding of becoming a Linux admin, which I think is so important, as I've been mentioning in my later videos, and knowing networking, which is also extremely important. Such a cool concept to have this exam. But again, an exam is only valuable if people are putting it on their job boards, if they're actually asking you to have it. If you're just joining, I saw number 5 tick up. We're really busting the seams here because it's members only, it's intimate. If you have any questions, by the way, of the 5 of you watching, I will answer them all if I can. Hell, calm down, don't put something out there. If you're just joining us now, we're talking about certifications, the future of IT certifications, and possibly the lack of value going forward, just because everything's moving towards a code-minded atmosphere. And I was talking with the manager of Cumulus. Hey, Carl, Mr. I always see your name as like KM Berg because it says because of Discord. But hey, good to have you here. It's funny. You said you were studying for the AWS SysOps exam. I think Bart, one of the CBT Nugget trainers, he just went and retook the exam, and he posted a video on YouTube about his experience. So it might be good to go look at his video. But anyways, Carl, we're talking about the since you're studying for certifications, the future of IT certifications and why they may not be even a thing. I'm just kidding. They'll be a thing, but more of how employers are going to start looking for. I'll actually put a link there. Let me go find it. Bart doesn't have a huge following just yet, but if he keeps going, he will. Let me find it. Bart. I'll go to my subscriptions. But I was talking about how, gosh, where did that video go? I subscribed to way too many people. Oh, there it is. Copy link, and I'll put it right here. That is Bart's video. He just took a SysOps exam. I was totally fascinated by the fact that you're studying for SysOps, by the way. It's so cool. But anyways, DevOps stuff and code and all that will be the value proposition for people hiring us now. They want to see what we've done, what we can do, not just what we know. So what do you guys think? You can either comment here or you can comment after. What do you think the future of IT certifications is? And one thing is funny about this guy. He said that him and his team wrote the exam questions for this exam, and he said he has the problem of keeping up with the changing technology. Technology changes too fast for them to write a new exam, and that's the problem that Cisco's been having for a long time. The exams are always at least like, if not one generation, 2 generations behind what's actually out there. Let me switch back to my live face. I think that worked. There we go. And now Cisco is seeing that, right? And they're like, we have to do something. So I think it's so funny what they've done is, they're doing a new exam every year, and they're actually having people like us, customers or just enthusiasts, when they come to Cisco Live, you can, to recertify yourself, write exam questions for them that will give you points or credits to recertify you, which I thought was hilarious because I get it. It's a double thing here. You both get your certification renewed, and they get exam questions to help them renew their certifications every year. Like, because it's a hard and like I was talking with the guys who came up with all these ideas. Like they're having a hard time keeping up because things change at a rapid pace. And Joe, experience over cert, and that can never be undervalued. Seriously, I get the question all the time, and in fact, I had the question today. I wish this live stream was almost public so I could put it out there. But should I get certification? Should I get experience? I think his specific question was, he said he had a voucher for he had 2 vouchers to get certifications. He got it from like some kind of grant. And he said he's going to get a CCNA, and then should he get a CCNP like immediately, or wait, get experience, and then get a CCNP? And that's a tough one because people are going to look and see if you have a bunch of acronyms and no experience. It's going to be a red flag. I can tell you from when I've had to hire people, if I see you've got CCNP this, MCSA that, all of this head knowledge, but I see no real experience, I'm gonna dump you. On the other hand, though, I understand how hard it is to find experience. I understand how hard it is to get that first job, and I always tell people you got to get creative with that. You have to get creative. If it means volunteering wherever you can, do that. If it means trying to your best demonstrate or create your own lab, real environments in your own lab, and like demonstrating that you can work on it, troubleshoot it, maybe create a YouTube video around that. Anything extra that puts you that displays your passion, it's going to put you above and beyond and help you get the first job. But yeah, experience will always win. I would have a lot more certifications right now if experience didn't like just totally change my career outlook. When I first started in IT, right, certifications were everything. And getting my A+, getting my CCNA, my CCNA opened so many doors. And I started working towards my CCNP. And like I always tell you guys, put on your resume, like Carl, right now on your resume, you should put studying for AWS SysOps, because you'll be immediately found by people looking. And I've never gotten like chewed out like, oh, you liar. We thought you had the certification, but it says here you're working on it. I never got chewed out for that. They would actually go, oh, I see you're working on certifications. It actually showed that I was continuing my education. I wasn't stopping. I was constantly learning. And employers want that. They want people who are actively learning, that are in charge of their own education and are furthering themselves. But I can tell you this thing, experience, my goodness. Once I had like 2 years experience in collaboration and voice, certifications were an afterthought. They just wanted people who could do stuff. So like my resume changed from like being very certification focused to being, here's what I've actually done. Here are the projects I've worked on. And when they see that on my resume, they know I can do it. Like they don't have a doubt. And yeah, it's an interesting world we live in. The experience versus certifications. It's hard. But I'll tell you this, man. Don't go to college. Jeremy Chara, and if you're already in college, it's for some people, I understand. But I have a hard time telling people you should not. I have a hard time telling people go to college and get out of debt for something you can learn for, just a fraction of the price outside of it, in any like medium you want. You want classroom-based training? Go to a boot camp or go to like community college or something. I highly encourage self-study because you learn so much just through the self-study process. Yeah, Beta Girl says, hello, Beta Girl. Start to get your foot in the door, saying you meet a baseline, but experience is where the real power is. Yeah, absolutely. I've met people who, goodness gracious, had no certifications, never even thought about certifications. They lucked into a job on the help desk. They were constantly learning, constantly demonstrating they knew something, and just gained knowledge and moved up, and then moved across to different companies and this and that. And they're like these senior engineers, and they're like, what certification? I'm a nerd, so like whenever when I was working in the field, when I would have consultants come in, and these consultants like might be like from Palo Alto or Cisco or something, and they'd be like these geniuses and stuff, and I would like, oh, what certifications do you have? And they're like, I don't have any certifications. I just know what I'm doing. That's all it is. So it's a crazy world we live in. But anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Just a quick off the cuff thought about certifications and the conversation I had with this guy from Cumulus yesterday. It's crazy the direction things are going. I'm passionate about certifications because of the doors they open, and that's exactly right, Beta Girl. Like they open doors where it used to be that you had to have college degrees to open those doors. Certifications do that for us in IT. And I would love it so much if the rest of the careers, from doctors to lawyers would well, maybe not doctors. Doctors, you should go to school for a very long time. You should go to school longer than you're already going. But everything else, I wish the barrier to entry wasn't like a 4-year super expensive degree. I wish it was more self-paced. Like my daughters, I have 4 daughters. 2 of them are already being schooled. They're homeschooled. And we decided homeschool for a variety of reasons, but one of the primary reasons I have for them to to stay at home and do school, was I want them to understand and realize the power they have over their own education. They can decide what they want to do now or they can work towards that now. They don't have to go through all these nonsensical things, these useless classes, these time-wasting things through high school, and then go through all these other time-wasting things, all these basics in college. Art history, all these things you don't really will ever care about. I want them to focus on things they can build now. I mean, if I would have even known about the CCNA when I was 16, I like to say I would have gone for it. But just I love that when the high schools introduce these things, there's so much opportunity outside of the traditional path, and that's what I hope for my kids and everything. But, anyways. It's almost 5:30. I was going to limit myself to 5:30 because my wife's like, you do enough live streams. We're not going to have you doing them constantly. And I figured it'd be kind of quick with the smaller crowd. But if you're watching this after the actual stream, let me know in the comments what you think about certifications and the future of certifications. I think it's going to be very much like I even hear now that even if you have certifications, these employers still look for, hey, do you have a GitHub page? Do you have automation there? Do you have things going on? Matthew Moore, what's going on, buddy? Welcome. We were talking about certifications and Cumulus and open networking and Linux and fun stuff. If you can watch the DVR version of this afterwards because I'm closing up now. Oh, ICND 1 tomorrow. Dude, good luck. Is this one of your first Cisco certs? I mean, obviously it's probably your first Cisco cert. Is it your first certification test? Because it's a little weird at first because the testing environment is weird. It's not the most comfortable place in the world. Like when I'm studying, I'm comfortable in my chair, my office, my domain. Got my monitor, my keyboard. Oh, you got 10 others? Okay, well, never mind. You're way ahead, man. Judah Harris, unknown. I like that name. He plans to take the new one. I plan to take the new one too. I'm excited for it. I'm producing content for the new one. It's exciting to be doing that. Tell you what, it's a crazy thing to go from talking about the CCNA and studying for it and everything to creating content for it 5 years later. It's so cool, and working with Jeremy Chara and Keith Barker. But yeah, Matthew, good luck. ICND 1's a fun test, a fun exam. So Carl, I said totally agree, and it's going to be depending on the employer. I work for a consultancy firm, and they promote certifications as it will help sell consult. Oh yeah. So that is that's key though. If you work for a company that values certifications, then I've worked for companies that don't give a rip, right? But a consulting company, oh my gosh, yeah, because they get vendor discounts. They get partner status if they have a certain number of you folks being certified. It's a no-brainer if you're working for a consultant. How do you like consultant life? I did it for a little bit. I have to be honest, it wasn't my cup of tea. I did not like it. Judah Harris says, I like how it is all in one, but has a lot of chapters to study. Any advice about that? Yeah, break it up. Yeah, I noticed that, the CCNA it's a lot, man. It's like wireless security, a little bit of automation. Just break it up. I would say because the beginning parts are still very much core networking, so just break it up, focus on that one section, live and breathe it. You may even want to supplement just a little bit with previous CCNA content, because this previous CCNA content will be very much very hardcore networking that maybe the gaps aren't filled in with the new CCNA. The new CCNA is going to be great in all respects, but you can't have everything the new CCNA or the old CCNA had, because it's going to include security and wireless and other stuff. It's trying to be a kind of an everything. So it's a good exam. Break it up. Keep it. You don't want to just look at it as one big chunk. It's going to be overwhelming. So I'll just dichotomize it. Security. Focus on security. I've been watching Keith Barker's security section on the CCNA. It's fantastic. I've been watching Jeremy Chara's section on on building a lab and a physical lab. Oh, so fun. It's really fun. Matthew Moore asks, any advice on how to market myself once I pass the ICND 1 with the new change? Well, you should definitely you better be getting ICND 2 before February 2020, because ICND 1, the CCENT, I could see it still being on employers' wish list because they're all not gonna go, oh, February 2020, everyone update your resume searches. Like, they're not gonna do that. Like, people are still gonna flag for CCINT or Network Plus searches, but it's gonna go away eventually. So get the ICND2. Oh, cool. Good. Goodness gracious. Thank you. ICND2 is scheduled. Any new videos from Jeremy Chara? Yeah. I was watching like 3 new ones this morning because I'm reviewing his content. The trainers at CBT Nuggets, we all review each other's content to make sure it's doesn't suck. So I was watching his content this morning. It's fantastic. What I love, and I give myself credit for it, but before, CBT Nuggets training was mostly just them writing on a screen, and you never got to see Jeremy. I've always wanted to see his environment. So this time around, he's got his office. You can see him talking. You can see his lab. He's got his physical lab. It's really, really fun. But yeah, it's a fun course. The CCNA at CBT Nuggets this time around is going to be a really fun one. Should I resubscribe or wait until it's complete? It's up to you, man. Are you I don't know. I mean, it's up to you. I would never advise to wait to start studying, right? Because like you can watch the old CCNA content and match it up to what is current. So like, I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a lot of things that will not change. Logging into iOS, password encryption, SNMP. None of that's different from the old CCNA. It's going to be taught with the new breath and life into the new versions here, but all the stuff is still the same. I mean, especially like in the beginning, I've been watching his stuff. He's doing like just how to log into iOS. Basic stuff that will never change. So I would watch the old stuff, to be honest, until the new stuff comes out. And I believe Wendell Odom has already released his first book for CCNA. Beta Girl says, I'm new to Linux and want to do exciting or cool things. Any suggestions? I'm in the same boat. I'm looking for more projects to do with Linux. What I would do, just exciting and fun things to do, would be like getting a Raspberry Pi. Those are just fun. And like maybe building a website first. Maybe doing a VPN. Putting like OpenVPN on a Raspberry Pi is a pretty fun project because you have to learn a lot about the networking side of things on a Raspberry Pi and Linux. You're learning about VPN and security, and you're learning about SSH keys. Like there's so many things you get to learn with a Raspberry Pi and doing like a VPN. And at the end of it, you've got a VPN. You got a VPN server you can connect to and use to secure yourself when you're out in the wild. That would be a fun one. As far as other Linux stuff, like there's so many things. So many that I can't even remember one. I'm planning on doing a video. Let me know what you guys think about. I want to talk about Docker more. Docker is a pretty big thing. I kind of mentioned it in the live stream with my brother on Monday, but Docker's huge, and I haven't talked about it much. I think I have like one video talking about it, but I want to put Docker on my Raspberry Pi and just demonstrate some things. I think it'd be kind of fun. It's 5 minutes past. I gotta get out of here. Well, guys, this is the first. Oh wait, for Matthew. He works at Baylor next to the networking team, and it's so fun hearing them through the door. Oh, so you're not in networking yet? Interesting. Oh, great. That's a good question. So he's like, how do I get my foot in the door? Once he has CCNA. Dude, go put your foot in the door. Go. If you hear them talking, go crash that party, man. Like, shadow them. Say, hey, hello, my name's Matthew, and I want to be your best friend. Can I watch you do stuff? When is your ask them seriously, when is your next maintenance weekend? I want to help you carry stuff, or I want to just help you with anything. Like, do it. That's what I did. I mean, I bothered the crap out of my senior admin. Oh my gosh, we're still friends now, but I know he had to hate me back then. I would not leave him alone. Offer them pizza and booze. What a great idea. Jude Harris, that's a great idea. Yeah, like one thing, like I try to tell people, and my brother had the same issue. So he was working help desk, and he was having a hard time getting on the networking team. And I was like, Cameron, you've got to you gotta really put your best foot forward. If they're blowing you off, you gotta make it valuable to them. Like you can't force them to like you. You gotta have a huge value proposition. Do their boring stuff for them. Make them look good. Just whatever. You gotta do so much. But that the fact that you are even aware of the networking team at Baylor is cool, and you can easily like just become friends with them. Maybe not easily, but you know what to do. That's the best path. Oh, break room and coffee machine, dude. Yeah, just walk in there with the Network Chuck mug and say, "Hey, you guys seen this guy?" No, I'm just I doubt they even know who I am. But yeah, just rub shoulders. Maybe just pick a. You know what network guys love doing. You know what they love doing. They love talking about networking. They do. It's a geeky thing. We love it. Pick one of your IC and D1 topics and say, "Hey, friend, how are we using Spanning Tree? Do we even use Spanning Tree? Can you explain that to me? I would love to know." Like, just start a conversation. Show how interested you are. That would be really fun. And over coffee, that's a no-brainer. You're gonna win. I think it'd be fun. I'm so passionate about that and I was talking with Jeremy Chara about this on Tuesday. Like, we're both extremely passionate about skipping college and going down this path. It's the best thing ever because you don't need college. You get a few certifications, right? You start learning networking, which is so exciting. Like just talking about it now, I want to shut off the live stream and go configure some routers in Boson NetSim. Right, Boson? But donuts is also good. Judah Harris, yeah. Starbucks gift cards, like bring them coffee from outside. Yeah, bring them some good stuff, not that crappy Baylor coffee. But being able to just write your own story and decide your own path for your career is the best thing. I feel like I cheated. I really do. I feel like I cheated life in the career path I took, and I want everyone else to cheat with me. Look at my answers, man. Like cheat. It's the best thing ever. More Cisco. NetSim for life. That should, Boson, I have to tell you guys, do you guys have any merch? I would love to wear some t-shirts from Boson. I got some shirts at Cisco Live from your Boson guy, but they're kind of ugly. My kids wear them as nightgowns. But I don't see any merch. That would be good merch. NetSim for life or something like that. That'd be great. But y'all stuff is ugly. Get some new merch. Maybe we can do a merch collab. That'd be kind of fun. Anyways, I think that's it for today. I will be doing, I know I promised a members only live stream every month, and it's been like 3 months since I said that, and this is the first one, but yes, we're here. My face on shirts. Oh, we don't want to scare everyone away. Maybe just the beard. Just the beard. Anyways, David Bomble's blowing me up. I need to jump on a call with him or text him or something. So I'm going to end this, guys. Thanks for joining me. We got a max of 7 people in here. No, it's meant to be intimate. It's meant to be small, so we can just chat and hang out. Maybe next time we'll just I'll get on and be playing a video game, and you can watch me be really bad at it, and we can talk IT or something. But maybe I'll come on and like be doing something cool. I don't know. I'm just gonna have a random idea, come to you and stream of consciousness, and maybe I might have surprise guests too. I thought about bringing Jeremy Chara on today, but I think he's in a remote cabin somewhere today, so it might be hard to get him on. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys definitely on Monday if you come join the public live stream. But that's all I got. I'm gonna stop rambling, and y'all take care, keep studying. Talk to y'all later.